Well, things are moving along at the Oklahoma State Capitol during this legislative session. Really started about a month ago here. So we know you all have a ton of questions about important decisions being made for the future of our state. So here with us now today to get an update is House Minority Leader Cindy Munson. Welcome in, Cindy. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Okay, so let's start with a bill you authored, actually, that's moving forward. House Bill 2773, which looks to better compensate those who've been wrongfully convicted.
Right.
Tell me a little bit more about the text of that bill and what really inspired you to bring this this session.
That bill was inspired by a constituent who is actually my sorority sister. I had no idea that her father had been incarcerated when she was in high school. And ultimately was wrongfully convicted. So she brought to my attention that there's a cap in the state of Oklahoma at $175,000, regardless of how much time you've spent in prison, or if you were on death row or on probation or parole. And so I went into our state statutes and took a look at what we were doing, and then looking at what were surrounding states doing, like Texas and Kansas. And so I really try to mirror what we're doing with this legislation to match what's happening in states similar to ours. I think it's important. What I tried to elevate and remind people that these are factually innocent folks. They have to go through a process. The court makes that decision. And so what the bill will do is it will change from $175,000 cap to $50,000 for every year you were incarcerated. And then if you were on death row or if there's parole or probation, there's additional supplemental amounts that are added to that. And the reason for that is because we've taken away their life, we've done something wrong, and so it's important that we show, we want to support all Oklahomans, and we want to make sure that they have the opportunities they need to take care of themselves and their families.
And where's that bill now?
Now it is headed to the House floor.
House floor.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's talk about grocery tax.
Okay.
It's been a big topic of conversation.
Yes.
We know it's a big push for the governor. It's been pushed out of House committee at this point. The House historically has been in favor of this. It's the Senate that has historically been opposed. So what are your hopes for this as a member of the House and as it moves through? And then did you guys do anything differently to try to move it through the Senate this time around?
Yeah, with the grocery state sales tax, one, I want to elevate that it is the state portion. So I know a lot of local communities get really fearful that we're talking about the local tax. We're only talking about the state sales tax. This is something that House Democrats have been pushing for years. So we're very glad that our Republican colleagues have come alongside us and have found a way to get their caucus to support a grocery state sales tax. I'll also say it's probably the most popular issue that came up when I was out knocking doors this last campaign cycle. And so we know this is something that Oklahomans are asking for. All of us are dealing with inflation and high costs with groceries, and so we're really focused on how do we lower those costs for Oklahomans. We always say that we have great bills that come out of the House and the Senate tends to kill them. So I think it'll probably be a part of the negotiations when we start voting on the larger budget. And my hope is that senators hear from their constituents. So if this is important to Oklahomans, they need to reach out to their senators and let them know. And hopefully that'll move the bill forward in the state Senate.
Okay. Next topic here, House Bill 2177, one of several bills at the Capitol dealing with gender reassignment care, gender affirming care. That's passed the House floor. What exactly does that bill entail as it stands now, and your thoughts?
Yeah, so essentially this bill bans insurance companies from providing insurance coverage for any gender-affirming care. The focus has really been on minors, but in this bill, this also includes adults over the age of 21. And so our position as House Democrats was we do not want to get in the way of physicians and individuals when they're making their own private health care decisions. We have stood against these issues all last year when the most extreme abortion ban in the country was proposed. And the reason we stand against these types of pieces of legislation, one, it's divisive. That's the first thing. The second thing is, why are we meddling in people's private healthcare decisions? Let's let those individuals make their own decisions with their physician and what's best for them. And then third, it has an economic impact. When we elevate these types of issues, it is really hard to recruit businesses to come to the state of Oklahoma because businesses want to hire a workforce, and that means people, and that means that people are different. And so we'll continue to stand against these bills. There will be more, I'm sure, that will come out of House committees later this week. Will be on the floor, and then there are Senate bills that will probably come over to the House as well.
As a Democrat in such a heavily conservative Capitol here. How have you guys been working with bipartisanship? How's it been going this session?
Yeah, with the bill that you just mentioned, those get the most attention, and part of that is because you see this happening across the country. But there are plenty of things like the grocery state sales tax that House Republicans and Democrats have worked on together. Criminal justice issues are issues that we work on together. Mental health and more coverage and ensuring that we're compensating mental health providers has been a bipartisan issue. And so there are things that we do work on together. It can be difficult for Democrats to move things forward, but we absolutely find success. And we have no problem, and I have never had a problem working with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, but we won't stand for extremist legislation, and we definitely won't advocate for a state that's exclusive. We want to be an inclusive state and be a place for everybody.
Before I let you go, any other topics on the horizon that you want to make sure our viewers know about, kind of pay attention to?
Yeah, I think, I don't think anyone is surprised that education will continue to be a top issue. We had debates on that just a few weeks ago, and as we move to the floor and we move throughout session, it'll continue to be an issue. House Democrats have continued to advocate for a teacher pay raise, something significant that is meaningful because we are losing teachers from our classrooms and it's really hard to recruit them. And so that continues to be an issue for us. And then looking at the economy and, we are voting on incentive packages, trying to lure businesses to us, but we want to make sure that policies are in place that honor all people and tell them they are welcome here. And of course, we want to keep Oklahomans here in the state of Oklahoma.
House Minority Leader Cindy Munson, busy day, I'm sure, today, and got a couple months to go here. So thanks so much for giving us an update. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.